She was beauty, she was power, and she was the voice that defined a generation. From gospel choirs to global superstardom.
How will I know if he really loves me? Oh, I wanna dance with somebody. My love is your love.
Whitney Houston rose like no other. But behind the dazzling spotlight, there was a shadow growing darker each day. Drugs, pressure, love, fame. How did the girl with the golden voice end up silenced forever? Tonight, we open the door to the mystery, the legacy, and the heartbreak of Whitney Houston. Was her death truly an accident, or was there something more? Whitney Elizabeth Houston was born on August 9, 1963, in Newark, New Jersey. She was raised in a world of music. Her mother, Cissy Houston, was a legendary gospel singer, and her cousin was none other than Dionne Warwick. From a young age, Whitney's voice stunned everyone who heard it. At just 11 years old, she was already singing solos in church choirs that left congregations in tears. But her voice wasn't just powerful, it was divine. People would say, "This girl doesn't sing, she soars." As a teenager, Whitney began modeling, becoming one of the first Black women to appear on the cover of 17 magazine. But it was her musical gift that couldn't be ignored. At age 19, she was discovered by Clive Davis, a music executive who immediately saw her potential. In 1985, her debut album Whitney Houston was released. And the world would never be the same. The album included hits like Saving All My Love for You and How Will I Know? She became the first woman in music history to have 7 consecutive #1 hits on the Billboard Hot 100. By the late 1980s, Whitney wasn't just a star, she was a global phenomenon. With beauty, elegance, and a voice that could shake the soul, Whitney Houston became America's sweetheart. In 1989, Whitney met Bobby Brown at the Soul Train Music Awards. He was the bad boy of R&B, wild, rebellious, and unpredictable. To many, they seemed like opposites. Whitney was the polished superstar. Bobby, the chaotic rebel. But behind the scenes they shared a spark. And a dangerous chemistry. They married in 1992. From the outside, it was a fairy tale. But inside the palace, it was a storm. Fights, jealousy, cheating rumors, and most destructively drugs. It's said that Bobby introduced Whitney to hard substances, but others argue she already had her demons. The media feasted on their downfall. The perfect pop princess was now tabloid gold, appearing disoriented in interviews, missing concerts, and canceling tours. Her voice, once angelic, began to fade. Fans were heartbroken. The world watched a queen unravel. Slowly. But no matter how low she fell, Whitney kept saying, "I'm still me. I'm still Whitney." And deep down, fans hoped the old Whitney would return. In the early 2000s, Whitney tried to rise again. She entered rehab, gave interviews, and even released a new album in 2009 titled I Look to You. It was her message to the world. I'm still standing. I still believe. Her voice had changed, deeper, shakier, but the emotion was still raw, still powerful. Fans welcomed her back with open arms. But it wasn't easy. Behind the spotlight, the struggle continued. Whitney was cast in the movie Sparkle, her first film in years. People hoped this was a fresh start. But then came the night of February 11, 2012. Whitney Houston was found dead in a hotel bathtub in Beverly Hills. She was 48 years old. Drugs were found in her system. The official cause, accidental drowning with heart disease and cocaine use, listed as contributing factors. But some fans weren't convinced. Theories began to spread. Soon after Whitney's death, whispers began to echo across the internet. Some said she knew too much. Others claimed she was trying to break free from the industry's control and paid the price. Conspiracy theories exploded. Was her death truly accidental? Or did someone want her silence forever? Her family, her money, her secrets all became part of the mystery. Some point to the eerie similarities between Whitney's death and her daughter Bobby Christina's. 3 years later, Bobby was also found unconscious in a bathtub. She never recovered. Two women. Same fate. Same mystery. Some believe the music industry is controlled by powerful, unseen forces, elite groups that silence artists who know too much or refuse to obey. They say Whitney was a victim of the same shadowy system. Is there truth behind these theories? Or are they just stories born from grief and disbelief? We may never know. Despite all the rumors, all the pain, and all the darkness, Whitney Houston left behind a light that still shines. Her voice continues to echo through generations. Her songs, "I Will Always Love You," "Greatest Love of All," "How Will I Know," have become timeless. She inspired millions of young girls who dared to dream, aspiring singers who found hope in her story. She broke barriers as a Black woman in a white-dominated industry, as a gospel-trained voice who soared to global stardom. Her life was a symphony of highs and lows, of spotlight and shadow. But through it all, her truth lived in her music. And that music? It lives on. Whitney Houston may be gone, but the voice, the legend, the woman remains unforgettable. This was her story. A voice from heaven that the world wasn't ready to lose.